with the best of the best, because you guys voted for The Legend of Zelda. Oh my god, you guys, I can't wait to start this video, but I think that this is going to be very long. So I believe, as usual, I'm going to have to split it into 2 parts. But even better, twice as much fun. Okay, you guys, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to focus on...
Hey, listen!
What? Did you hear that sound? It's you, Navi. Hi. Right on time. Shall we make a video about you and your pal Link and your adventures? I thought so. Okay, let's do this. So, before Navi interrupted me, I wanted to say that I am going to focus on the main games, so the main story. There are a lot of kind of side games. For example, there's the main game, The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and then there's kind of like the side game or a sequel, The Hourglass, for example, which kind of plays in the same realm in the same time. I don't want to go into those games because, I don't know, then it would take 10 videos to cover all that. So, I'm going to tell you the story about all of the main games, starting from The Legend of Zelda to Skyward Sword. I'm not going to talk about Breath of the Wild because I'm dying. I don't have that game. I don't have neither a Wii U nor a Nintendo Switch. I'm going to get it for Christmas for sure. This is like, everybody knows that this is my biggest wish, the Nintendo Switch, so I can play Breath of the Wild. So until then, I'm not going to be able to talk about it. So, I'm going to talk about all of the games, but I really want to focus on the games starting at Ocarina of Time, because then comes this whole timeline situation into place, and it's too awesome. And also, I really remember Ocarina of Time and the other games so well, because when I played The Legend of Zelda, I was very young and I could not really realize what I was playing, I guess. But I played the games again when I was a little older, but still, I want to focus on Ocarina of Time and the games after that more. So I'm going to talk about each game, but like going deeper into it from Ocarina of Time on. So let's start with the first game, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda. The plot relies heavily on the backstory given in the short in-game prologue and the instruction booklet. Hyrule was engulfed in chaos after an army led by Ganon, the Prince of Darkness, invaded the kingdom and secured the Triforce of Power, a magical artifact bestowing great strength. Princess Zelda split the artifact's counterpart, the Triforce of Wisdom, into 8 fragments, hiding them in secret dungeons throughout the land to prevent them from falling into Ganon's hands. She commanded her most trustworthy nursemaid, Impa, to escape and to find a man courageous enough to destroy Ganon. Upon hearing this, Ganon grew angry, imprisoned the princess, and sent a party in search According to the manual, Impa fled for her life, but was overtaken by her pursuers. As Ganon's henchmen surrounded her, a youth drove the monster off. The boy's name was Link, and Impa told him of Hyrule's plight. Link resolved to save Zelda, but to fight Ganon, he had to find and reassemble the scattered fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom. Undeterred, Link set off for Hyrule in an epic adventure. During the course of the game, Link locates the 8 underground dungeons and retrieves the Triforce fragments from the clutches of powerful guardian monsters. Along the way, he picks up a variety of useful items and upgrades to aid him in his quest. With the Triforce of Wisdom, Link is able to infiltrate Ganon's fortress high upon Death Mountain. He confronts the Prince of Darkness, destroying him with a silver arrow discovered deep within Ganon's dungeons. Link picks up the Triforce of Power from Ganon's ashes and returns both Triforces to Princess Zelda, whom he releases from her nearby cell. According to Zelda's words, peace would then return to Hyrule, a symbol of courage, strength, and wisdom. So this is the story of The Legend of Zelda, and this is how it all started. So awesome. Then let's get right into the second one. Several years after the events of The Legend of Zelda, just before his 16th birthday, Link notices a strange mark on the back of his hand, similar to that of the crest of Hyrule. He seeks out Impa, who responds by taking Link to the Tower of North Castle, where a maiden lies in a deep sleep. Impa tells Link that the maiden is Zelda, a princess of Hyrule from long ago and the origin of the Legend of Zelda. A long time ago, the Prince of Hyrule had tried to obtain the Triforce, but Zelda refused to tell him the location of it. In order to extract the information from her, he brought in a magician to interrogate her. Unable to find out any information, the wizard cast a sleeping spell on her, which also resulted in his own death. The prince, being unable to reverse the spell, had his sister placed in the castle tower in the hope that she would one day be awakened. He decreed that all females born to the royal family from that point on would be named Zelda in remembrance of this tragedy. Impa says that the mark on Link's hand means that he is the chosen hero to awaken Zelda. She gives Link a chest containing 6 crystals and ancient writings indicating that each crystal needs to be placed in a different palace in Hyrule. This will open the way to the Great Palace, which contains the Triforce of Courage, which has the power to awaken the enchanted Zelda. Taking the crystal, Link sets out to restore them to their palaces. Meanwhile, the followers of Ganon are seeking to kill Link. As sprinkling his blood on Ganon's ashes would supposedly resurrect their master. ultimately, Link restores the crystals to the 6 palaces, and with the crystals in place, the entrance to the Great Palace is opened. After venturing deep inside, Link is made to battle and defeat a shadowy doppelganger of himself known as Dark Link. After Dark Link is defeated, Link claims the Triforce and uses it to awaken Zelda, who embraces Link while a curtain falls in front of them. The Adventures of Link. Yes, so awesome. In my opinion, the first, like The Legend of Zelda and Link's Adventures, gameplay-wise are pretty similar, which is good because sometimes I have problems with when like a sequel to a game is extremely different. I need a lot of time to get used to it sometimes, so to me this is a good thing. So then let's get to the third main game, which is one of the best of all of them, if not the best. Story-wise, it's definitely one of my absolute favorites. And I'm talking about The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past. Many centuries prior to the events of the game, in the land of Hyrule, many parties sought to enter the mythical Golden Land, where the omnipotent and omniscient Triforce, a relic believed to have the power to grant the utmost wish of the person who touches it, was rumored to be found. Eventually, the thief Ganon managed to successfully do so, turning the Golden Land into an inhospitable wasteland known as the Dark World. In order to prevent Ganon from causing more destruction and pain, the 7 wise men sought to seal him away in the Dark World. The valiant Hylian knights protected them from Ganon's forces, and the seal was successfully placed. However, the Hylian knights' bloodline was almost entirely wiped out as a result of the battle. It was prophesied that if Ganon should ever return, a descendant of the knights would ultimately defeat him and restore the Golden Land to its former glory. Centuries later, the mysterious sorcerer Aghanim has deceived and deposed the good king of Hyrule. Aghanim then brainwashed the soldiers of Hyrule to capture 7 maidens, descendants of the 7 wise men, in order to send them to the Dark World, thus breaking the seal placed on Ganon. Zelda, Princess of Hyrule, is revealed to be one of these maidens and is imprisoned by Aghanim. One stormy night, the young boy Link, a descendant of the Knights of Hyrule, is telepathically contacted by Princess Zelda. Zelda begs Link to come rescue her from her captivity in the dungeons of Hyrule Castle. Link awakens, and his uncle, armed with a sword and shield, asks him to remain in the house before leaving. However, Link gets out of bed and is once more contacted by Zelda, who tells him about a secret passageway leading into the castle. Inside the passageway, Link finds his wounded uncle. Link's uncle gives him his sword and shield and passes away. Link reaches the dungeons of the castle and rescues Zelda. The two exit the castle by way of a secret passage leading to a sanctuary. The sanctuary's loyal sage relates to Link the legend of the Master Sword, a legendary blade feared by those of evil intent that is needed to break a barrier leading to Hyrule Castle's main tower. Aghanim resides. Link seeks the elder Sahasrara in Kakariko village to inquire about the sword, but finds that he has moved elsewhere. Upon meeting Sahasrara, the elder tells Link that in order to prove himself worthy of wielding the Master Sword, he must retrieve the pendants of virtue, the pendants of wisdom, courage, and power. These have been taken to the 3 dungeons in Hyrule, and to fulfill the prophecy and prove his worth, Link must brave the many trials of the dungeons and overcome monstrous foes. Link recovers the pendant of courage from the Eastern Palace and returns to Sahasrara. Upon seeing the pendant, Sahasrara is convinced of Link's potential to become the legendary hero and presents him with the Pegasus boots, boots that grant great speed to the wearer. Link travels south to the Desert of Mystery, where a mysterious lab with an inscription blocks his way. In a nearby cave, Link encounters Akina, a wise sage who tells him of the Book of Majora, an ancient tome that allows the user to decipher Old Hylian. Using the Pegasus boots, Link knocks the book down from a shelf in the House of Books and successfully gains entry to the dungeon, allowing him to recover the Pendant of Power. While traversing the cavernous depth of Death Mountain, Link comes across a lost old man whose granddaughter was one of the 7 maidens captured by Ganondorf. As thanks for aiding him to his home in the mountains, the old man gives Link a magic mirror. Link uses a portal on the mountain to enter the Dark World. For the duration of his stay, he is transformed into a bunny, as one who enter the Dark World transform into a shape that reflects what is in their heart. Braving the Tower of Hera, Link obtains the 3rd and final pendant, the Pendant of Wisdom, as well as the Moon Pearl that grants the holder immunity against the transformative effects of the Dark World. After successfully gathering all 3 pendants of virtue, Link pulls the Master Sword from its pedestal in the Lost Woods. Almost immediately, Link is contacted by Zelda, whose hiding place has been discovered by Aghanim's guards. She is taken away to Hyrule Castle once more, where Aghanim is ready to transport her to the Dark World. Breaking the barrier placed on the door on the Hyrule Castle tower, Link ascends the tower and confronts Aghanim. However, he is too late, and Aghanim sends Zelda to the Dark World. Aghanim and Link do battle, and by deflecting Aghanim's magic back at him with the Master Sword, Link seemingly defeats the evil sorcerer. However, Aghanim tells him that his efforts freeing 6 of them, Link finally frees Zelda, the 7th maiden. With the power of the 7 maidens, Link breaks the seal on Ganon's tower and works his way up Ganon's evil stronghold. After Aghanim is defeated once more, Ganon is seen rising from Aghanim's body before turning into a bat and escaping to the pyramid. Ganon later describes Aghanim as his alter ego. Link pursues Ganon to the pyramid. After a long and fierce battle, Link defeats the evil king with his silver arrow. A stairway opens, and the Triforce, an omnipotent golden relic that grants the wish of whomever touches it, appears before Link. With a pure heart, he wishes for all of Ganon's evil to be undone. After peace is restored to Hyrule, Link returns the Master Sword to the pedestal of time, seemingly to rest forever. The story is so good. Only thinking about it just makes me so nostalgic. Do you know what I mean? Do you do something that I do? Like when you start a Zelda game, you are given the option to give your character a name. Do you name it after yourself or something? Because I always call him Link, always. And I always call the horse Epona, never give it a different name. Do you do that too? Or am I the only one? Or is that... And do you remember those guys who had like the PlayStation later, PlayStation 1, and were like, with the Nintendo games, there are no voices, the characters aren't talking, there's only reading. Duh, it's because so you can make your own voiceovers. Because this I always do. I play Zelda and like every single character, I give a different kind of voice and do my own voiceovers. Do you do that too? I love that. This is one of the best parts of it, that they're not talking. I mean, Link sometimes makes some strange noises with his and but still, I like that there's no talking in the games. Do you? Or would you prefer them to be talking? So then let's get to the 4th. Link's Awakening. One night, the hero Link, traveling the seas in search of adventure, comes across a raging storm and is shipwrecked on Koholint Island, a tropical paradise. On the beach of the island, the unconscious Link is found by a young lady by the name of Marin. Link awakens, confused, in the house of Marin and her father Tarin, who gives Link his shield back. Link returns to the beach where he was discovered, retrieves his lost sword, and is suddenly approached by a giant owl, which tells him that in order to escape from the island, he must awaken the Windfish, the guardian deity of Koholint Island, from his sleep deep within the giant egg overlooking the island. A task that can only be accomplished with the help of the 8 instruments of the sirens found within the 8 dungeons on the island. The nightmares, evil creatures seeking to rule the island, do everything in their power to guard the instruments of the sirens and stop Link from ever waking the Windfish. With the help of the owl, Link finds his way around the island, defeats the nightmares, and retrieves the instruments. All the while, Link seemingly falls in love with a beautiful Marin who teaches him the Ballad of the Windfish, a song of mysterious power on his ocarina. However, the true nature of the island is revealed when Link discovers a mural in a shrine. Here, it is inscribed that the island is merely a dream of the Windfish, and if he is awakened, the island will disappear. Link, confronted with a difficult choice, continues on his journey. The nightmares attempt to discourage Link from waking the Windfish, as Marin will be gone when the Windfish awakens as well. After collecting all the 8 instruments, Link approaches the Windfish's egg and plays the Ballad of the Windfish, causing the magical instruments to play along with him, opening a doorway into the maze-like interior of the egg. After navigating the maze inside the egg, Link meets the leader of the nightmares, Deathel. Deathel transforms into many powerful shapes, some resembling enemies Link has fought before, but to no avail. He is finally defeated by Link. After its defeat, a staircase appears and Link is congratulated by the owl, who reveals himself to be part of the Windfish's spirit. Link plays the Ballad of the Windfish once more, awakening the Windfish. As it carries Link away, the island disappears. He comforts the troubled Link by telling him that while Koholint Island itself must disappear, it will remain in Link's memories forever. Link awakens, floating on the ocean, unsure about whether or not the events on Koholint Island was a dream. As he looks up into the sky, however, Link sees the massive silhouette of the Windfish and smiles. It is unknown what happened to him afterwards, as he seemingly no longer has a boat to sail. If the game is completed without any death, Marin is shown to have been reincarnated as a seagull, as was her wish expressed much earlier in the game. Unlike most other Zelda titles, the game does not take place in Hyrule and does not involve any of the characters or locations of previous games, beside a passing mention of Princess Zelda in the opening portion of the game and a brief mention of Ganon in the instruction manual story of the game. Instead, Link's awakening takes place entirely on Koholint Island, an isolated landmass which is cut off from the rest of the world. There are 2 major towns located to the west and east portions of the island. The former Mabi village is where the player begins their quest. The latter, Animal Village, is named to its non-human inhabitants. In addition to a large mountain range to the north, Koholint contains a forest, plains, castle, swamp, and desert. Alright, also awesome, and in my intro, the music is from that game, Link's Awakening. I love it so much. I could listen to it all time. It is also my, what's it called? My alarm clock melody in the morning. So it's not Link's Awakening, it's Serenity's Awakening in the morning.
So funny.
So then let's get to
Listen!
There she is again. Yes, Navi, now it's your turn. So impatient. We're coming to Ocarina of Time, where this little lady comes into place. Yes, so this game is my absolute favorite of all the Legend of Zelda games. All of them. Oh, Navi, the fairy, listen to my words. The words of the Deku Tree. Does those sense it? The climate of evil descending upon this realm. Malevolent forces even now are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokiri Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But even before this tremendous evil, even my power is as nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now. Find your young friend and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly. The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends on thee. Ocarina of Time is set in the kingdom of Hyrule. A youth named Link sets out on a quest to prevent the thief Ganondorf, the prime antagonist of the Legend of Zelda series, from obtaining the Triforce, a magical relic of omnipotent power, an event foretold by the prophetic Princess Zelda. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Ganondorf successfully obtains part of the Triforce. By traveling back and forth through time, using the mythical Master Sword, Link must amass the 6 medallions needed to defeat Ganondorf and restore peace to Hyrule. During the events of a massive conflict known as the Hyrulean Civil War, a woman escaped the ravages of war with her child. The woman was gravely injured, but managed to reach Kokiri Forest, a sanctuary that deters all outsiders. Before passing away, she left the child in the care of the great Deku Tree. The boy was to be raised as a Kokiri and would remain unaware of his destiny until one day when the Gerudo King of Thieves appeared in the forest and demanded a spiritual stone from the great Deku Tree. The mighty guardian tree refused to give it to him, sensing his evil intentions, and in return had a death curse put on him. The great Deku Tree entreats Navi, a young fairy of Kokiri Forest, to take the boy, known as Link, to the great Deku Tree. After obtaining a sword and shield, he approaches the Deku Tree. The tree tells Link of the curse on him, and the brave youth enters the Deku Tree to break the evil curse. Link successfully defeats the enemies inside, But the Deku Tree reveals that it was already too late for him even before he entered. In his last moments of life, he tells Link of the creation of Hyrule and the Triforce that Ganondorf desires. He reveals that it is Link's destiny to thwart the great evil and restore peace to Hyrule, and gives him the spiritual stone of the forest, one of the 3 keys to unlocking the gates to the sacred realm where the Triforce is kept. He is to seek out Zelda, the Princess of Hyrule. The great Deku Tree, his purpose now fulfilled, withers and dies. Link sneaks his way into Hyrule Castle and meets Princess Zelda. She had prophesied that a hero clothed in green would appear holding a spiritual stone to thwart an impending evil. Link shows her the spiritual stone, and the two devise a plan to defeat Ganondorf. Link must collect the 2 remaining spiritual stones, the Goron's Ruby and the Zora's Sapphire, and open the Door of Time in the Temple of Time with the help of the royal family's hidden treasure, the Ocarina of Time, in order to obtain the Triforce before Ganondorf. Link travels throughout Hyrule and gathers the 2 remaining spiritual stones. However, when he returns to Hyrule Castle Town, he sees Princess Zelda escaping the castle with her attendant Impa. Ganondorf had caught wind of their plot and had attacked Hyrule Castle in order to stop them. Before she vanishes out of sight, she throws the treasured Ocarina of Time into the moat surrounding the gates to Hyrule Castle Town to avoid it being taken by Ganondorf. The King of Thieves appears shortly thereafter, not considering a young boy a threat to his impending conquest of Hyrule. He knocks Link off his feet with a powerful magic spell and chases after Zelda and Impa. Link retrieves the Ocarina of Time and opens the door to the sacred realm with the spiritual stones and the Song of Time. Inside, he finds the mythical Master Sword, a legendary blade with the power to repel evil. However, when he pulled the sword out of the pedestal of time, he is sealed inside the sacred realm. Ganondorf, aware of their plan all along, enters the forbidden sacred realm and touches the Triforce. The powerful relic recognizes the wishes of Ganondorf's evil heart and turns the bountiful land of Hyrule into a haunted land rampant with evil monsters, of which he crowns himself king. Link remained sealed within the sacred realm for 7 years, as he was too young to be the legendary hero of time, the only one worthy of wielding the Master Sword. Link is awakened by Rauru, a sage, who relates to him what happened to Hyrule while he was sealed away. Rauru reveals that the only way to thwart the King of Evil is to awaken the 5 other sages sealed away in the 5 dungeons of Hyrule. transported back to the Temple of Time, where he meets a mysterious figure known as Sheik, a descendant of the mysterious Sheikah race. Sheik aids Link throughout his quest in the ruined Hyrule. Link, one by one, awakens the sages who appear to be friends he knew from Hyrule 7 years prior to its destruction, with the exclusion of Nabooru, whom Link had only just met as a child. Link, after awakening all 5 sages, meets up with Sheik in the Temple of Time. Here Sheik reveals that he is really Princess Zelda, the 7th sage in disguise. She tells Link that when Ganondorf touched the Triforce, it shattered into 3 pieces, representing courage, wisdom, and power, because the 3 virtues were not balanced within him. Ultimately, Ganondorf was only able to obtain the Triforce of Power. The Triforce of Wisdom was given to Princess Zelda, and the Triforce of Courage to none other than Link. She presents Link with the powerful light arrows, which have the power to destroy Ganondorf. As they are about to leave, however, Ganondorf's sinister laughter is heard. Having found them out, he encases Princess Zelda in a crystal prison and spirits her away into his castle, challenging Link to meet him. Link finds that Ganon's castle is separated from the mainland. To aid him, the 6 sages create a luminous bridge that he crosses to enter Ganondorf's huge stronghold. Here he finds that the entrance to Ganondorf's throne room is sealed by 6 barriers. The sages dispel the barriers with the help of Link and his light arrows, and he enters the inner sanctum of Ganondorf's castle. After ascending the dangerous main tower, he finds Ganondorf. Ganondorf tries to convince Link to give him the Triforce of Courage, and later tries to force it away from him, but to no avail. The confident and powerful King of Evil then challenges Link to a battle. Link turns Ganondorf's evil magic upon himself, and after a long and hard-fought battle, Ganondorf is defeated and drops to the ground. Princess Zelda is released from her crystal prison, and all seems to be well. However, with his last remaining strength, Ganondorf tries to destroy his own castle in order to crush his foes. Link and Zelda both make it out barely in the nick of time as the castle is undone right before their eyes. When the evil king seems to be finally defeated, the pair hears a sound come from the ruins of the castle. Ganondorf, using the true power of the Triforce of Power, transforms himself into a powerful entity known as Ganon, the embodiment of his evil heart. He knocks the Master Sword out of Link's hand, and Link is forced to fight him with other weapons. After causing enough damage to Ganon, Link retrieves the Master Sword, and with the help of Princess Zelda, deals a finishing blow to the monstrous creature. The 6 sages, along with Zelda, use their power to seal the King being restored to Hyrule, Zelda returns Link to his own time with the Ocarina of Time. After the free people of Hyrule celebrate their liberation, Link returns the Master Sword to the pedestal of time. The game ends with Navi flying away from Link in the Temple of Time and shows the scene where he meets Zelda in the courtyard with the knowledge of what would happen, implying that he would tell Zelda of Ganon's plans and stop them from ever coming into fruition. It was a total coincidence that I played this game. As I mentioned before, I think I was like 12 years old. My sister and I had just got the Nintendo 64 as a Christmas gift, and my grandmother asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, oh, I would like a game for our new console. And then she said, okay, let's go to the store and you choose one. And I had no game in mind. I had no idea what was on the market. We had already Super Mario 64 and Mario Kart. So I went through the shelves reading the inscriptions of games, and then I came across Zelda, and I didn't even realize that it was the Zelda from the games I had played before. I don't know, I think I was too young to realize this connection, but I read the inscription of the game and thought, well, this sounds awesome, and I asked for that game. I remember how my grandmother was kind of annoyed of how expensive it was, but still she got it, so I'm so happy she did. Thanks, Grandma. And then I started playing it and could never stop. What I remember though is, since I was so young, I had no problem in playing this game whatsoever with the bosses or anything, but I remember that the Shadow Temple really freaked me out. That was a dungeon with this mystical dark music. Really freaked me out. Still, when I listen to the music, you can hear it now, it kind of gives me the creeps a little bit, but it's still so awesome. And in Ocarina of Time, something new came, except from it being in 3D and being open world and all of that jazz. One other new aspect was the instrument, where the name of the game comes from, the ocarina. So Link gets the ocarina and he plays tunes on it, and each tune he learns can make things happen. And in the beginning I thought, I'm never going to memorize all those tunes. You don't have to memorize them, you can always look them up in the menu, but still I thought I could never do it. And then I was really surprised at how fast I learned them by heart. Like, I didn't even have to look them up or think about it, my fingers just did it all by themselves, which was awesome. And there are various tunes. The probably most important one is Zelda's Lullaby, which is the royal tune. It doesn't really do anything, but still in some situations it's really crucial. So I think it's really one of the most important tunes to know. Then there's Epona's song. Epona is a horse, as you probably know, and she is to be found on the Long Long Farm. Is it Long Long Farm? Sometimes I'm a little, because in German the words of course are a little different, and I used to play it in German because when I was 12 I don't think I knew a lot of English, so I guess it's Long Long Farm, maybe not. Or am I mistaking it with Majora's Mask?
There's also a farm. Is that the Long Long Farm? No, this is Romano's farm, something like that, I think. So the Long Long Farm.
Whatever, there's a farm, and there you can find Epona. Yeah, and this is the tune to call your horse once you rescued her, once you freed her. Then there is Saria's song, and Saria is like your best friend from the Kokiri forest, where in that game Link grew up, and the Kokiri never grow up there, they always remain children. And Saria, who later turns out to be a sage, she teaches you that music, which also doesn't have any real effect, but it's important in some situations of the game, because some people want to feel the forest, and that music gives them that feeling. Then there's the Song of Storms, which is awesome, and you learn that in a windmill. This is my favorite song. I love the tune so much, and this song, as the name suggests, makes it rain. So this is especially a handy tool, because sometimes you have to, or you can plant seeds in the soil that make a plant grow, or those skull spiders come out of them, which you can collect to gain extra abilities. And you can make it rain so that seed grows. You do not need it. You can also carry water around with you in bottles. But since you have a restricted amount of bottles, which the maximum amount I think is 3 or 4, and you really have better things to carry around than plain water. For example, healing milk potions, magic potions, or fairies. So it's really more handy to just play the Song of Storms and make it rain. Then there's the Sun's Song, which is also very, very handy. So you can turn day into night and night into day by playing that tune, which is important because some things are only available at night and other things are only available in daytime. And also this is a tool with which you can make time pass faster, which sometimes is needed. And you also need that song to stun mummies, which are also part of that game. And mummies, boy, are they annoying. They jump onto you and like strangle you, and you cannot get them off you. And they have a scream, kind of like a banshee, that makes you paralyzed, and they can get closer to you and suck the life out of you. Then there's the Song of Time, which is also very important. Well, actually, in this game, it does not do this much, but you really need it for that crucial moment in which Link pulls out the Master Sword and travels to the future. This is where you really, really need that song. This song actually becomes very important in Majora's Mask, but in this game it doesn't have that much of an effect. Well, there is something you can do with it, I remember now, which is important, is sometimes Navi, yes, I'm talking about you, hovers over certain spots on the floor, and then when you play the Song of Time, a block appears, which can be very handy because then you can climb up something. So this is kind of an important thing the song does. And then there's those songs later on with which you can travel to certain locations, which is extremely handy since since Hyrule, where everything takes place, is not exactly a small place, so you don't have to run around or ride around all the time to get to the different places. And there is the Minuet of Forest, which you learn from Saria. And obviously this gives you the ability to travel to the forest temple. Then there's the Bolero of Fire. Which you learn in the volcano. I'm not exactly sure. Do you learn it from the Goron King? I'm not exactly sure, but I know for sure that with that you can travel to the entrance of the fire temple, which is located in the volcano. Then there's the Serenade of Water. The water temples, by the way, are always my least favorites. I don't like levels with water. Boy, and I found the water temple is super annoying. To me, this was the most difficult temple of all. Yeah, so this is the Serenade of Water, which transports you to Lake Hylia, where the entrance to the water temple is located. Then there's the Requiem of Spirits. And you guys, I don't know what you did, but I always played the Shadow Temple before the Spirit Temple. I don't know why. This is so weird, isn't? Like when you see in the menu, there's all those medals you can get after clearing a dungeon, but the Shadow Temple is always before. Like the medallion, the medal from the Spirit Temple is always before the Shadow Temple, but I'm always, in the game, I always had the feeling that I had to clear the Shadow Temple first, like, because, I don't know. Did you clear the Spirit Temple first, and after that the Shadow Temple? Maybe I always played it the other way around. So weird. Especially since you have to get the gliding boots before you can enter the Spirit Temple. Huh. Tell me about your experiences there, please. So there's the Requiem of Spirit, which transports you deep into the desert where the entrance of the Spirit Temple is. And this temple is my favorite because I really love the ancient Egypt feeling about it. And the music. Oh, I love the music where the Gerudo warriors are. Awesome. Oh, listen to it. Oh, this is really my favorite part of the game. Then there's the Nocturne of Shadow, and it creeps me out. See, this still gives me the creeps. Oh, it's still awesome, but it is so dark in there and full of mummies and spiders and monsters and this dark music of the Shadow Temple. Did this not freak you out? Wait, it still freaks me out now. And then there's the Prelude of Light, which you learn only later on in the game, and this transports you to the Citadel of Time. Yes, right here in the Citadel of Time. And this is always a place I found extremely relaxing. I don't know why. To me, it emanates serenity. always liked being in there. Sometimes I just walked slowly through the citadel, looked at the windows. I found it really pretty in there, and the prelude of light transports you there, because in a crucial moment of the game you need to get there very, very fast. This is the quickest